Jason McDaniel's last single was called A Tall Glass of Country and a Shot of Rock and Roll, which was also an apt description of his music. His latest single is Harley Ride. We're going to talk about the song and about Harley-Davidsons. Hi, Jason.
G'day, Sophie. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. This is a I think more on the tall glass of rock and roll side, this song with a shot of country. The balance is still there. I'm going to start by asking you though, when did you get your first Harley-Davidson?
Early 90s, 1993, back when I was living in Sydney. Used to live out in the Hawkesbury near the RAF base, and a mate of mine who worked out there had a Harley-Davidson Sportster that was for sale. He was selling it, John, and I said, yeah, I wouldn't mind having a go, because I had a whole heap of Japanese bikes before then, Kawasaki's and Hondas. And so I went and took this thing for a ride and loved it. So, yeah, so what would I have been? Mid-20s, very early 20s at that time.
So obviously you had been riding bikes for a while, if you had that many before.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Do you think you had to go through those other bikes in order to appreciate the Harley-Davidson?
Yeah, actually I did, to do all the stupid things, because you can't, there's be people out there that say you can, but you can't ride a Harley-Davidson like a Grand Prix bike, and these other types of road bikes out there. So you have to go through that stage when you first get your license, like I did, and do all the silly things and have all the near misses. And then by the time you get a Harley, they don't handle like that, although they do handle a lot better today, but certainly not as good as what these race bikes or the other road bikes that people might be more familiar with do. So you calm down a little bit, but you still have a lot of fun.
So is it fair to say that Harley's like the cruising vehicle then of the bike world, or is that an insult?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's like everything where you've got, you do have cruisers in Harley-Davidson, so they have a whole lot of a range, so they've got sports bikes in Harley-Davidsons, which, that you can see racing around the tracks, and they're the Sportsters, which is what I bought, my first one. And then they have what I ride, which is a wide glide, which is what people might be familiar when they think of Harley-Davidsons. They think of what they saw on, you see on the biker movies that people ride, which are more of these soft tails and wide glide, your typical street type bike. And then they have what we call the cruisers, where they have the ones with the big panniers, the big fiberglass panniers on the back, or the big passenger chair behind you. It's like a big recliner chair, and they got the speakers for the stereo in them, and they're the cruisers, electric glides, or granny glides we call them, right? So you get those, and you got the stereo blaring, you got your music blaring, and they got a windscreen on them, so they don't even get their hair messed up by the wind, when they're riding. So the old saying of wind in your hair and bugs in your teeth doesn't exist on those, right? It's only on the others.
Yeah. So it sounds like, therefore, though, that model is meant for the long ride. So how often do you get out for a long ride on your Harley?
For the long ones, probably twice a month.
Okay.
And then the short ones, you use the bike like I did in COVID when I wrote this song. The bike was the escape, so I used to use it to whip down and buy a bottle of milk and a loaf of bread, and you'd do 3 or 4 trips because you couldn't carry it all with a bike. So that's what it's for,
Yeah. We should point out that you live in Melbourne, so you were in the most locked down place in the world, which is why you were pretty much only going as far as the shop on the Harley.
That's right. Yeah, but you'd go the long way around,
Right.
I mean, so
within your 5K limit.
Yeah, within someone's 5K limit anyway. Yeah.
So when you do go for longer rides, like is it a planned thing? Like, okay, I've got this bike, it can go a fair distance, I'm going to be comfortable, I want to see this place, I'm going to take the bike there, or do you just like to set off?
Well, both. The club I ride with, the Harley Owners Group, the Yarra Valley Harley Owners Group, they just went away last weekend up to Harriettville, which is in the high country, if you like, or the bottom of the high country in Victoria. So on that ride, I was up to, I think, one of the caravan parks up there. So they would load up their bikes and their panniers, and their big guys with wearing backpacks and the old throw over haversack that you see, that you think of, and they load it up and they prepare. Then on the way of the trip, even though it's only 2.5 hours, we tend to make them 5 or 6 hour trips, because you go a long way, take a windy road to a winery or a pub and have some lunch, and then head off to the next place. And you've got bikes as well that have got a really short range. They can't carry a lot of fuel. And like the bike I had originally, the Sportster, you would be lucky to get 180 Ks out of it. So if they're with you on the run, then they plan all that. So they'd be saying, right, we've got to stop every 150 Ks for these smaller bikes that don't carry as much fuel as the bigger ones. So half the group might stop with them, and the ones that can keep going will keep going, or meet them at the pub or whatever. So a lot of planning goes in it when they do the long ones, or the national rallies even, where they have all over Australia, where all the hog clubs from Australia all come together. But then other times it can just be, you'll rock up on the weekend at the shop where we all meet for a barbecue, and it'll be like, hey, what are you doing today, Sophie? Oh, I don't know, but I've got a few hours to kill. Righto, well, who else is available? Yep, let's go. See ya. And who's leading? Where we're going? Don't know. You can follow. We away you go. So you just jump in line and follow, and you might have 10 bikes. It could be 50 bikes.
Right.
Yeah, and everyone just peels off as they need to. I've got to go now, and they go off their way and their way and their way. And yeah, it's good fun.
Well, and I did see that you're a member of the Hog Club, so now you have solved the mystery of what the acronym means. Harley Owners Group. Yes.
Harley Owners Group, yeah. Yes, exactly. And it's a great thing. Anyone that has a Harley, owns a Harley, can join the Harley Owners Group, and it's good. There's just people of all ages riding all different types of bikes, and it's a really good social club, and they do lots of charity events, which is great. They have great parties as well. They go on great rides. It's a really good thing.
So you mentioned that the song Harley Ride was written during COVID. I imagine at that point you were dreaming of having some long rides on your bike.
Yeah, for sure. And it was, and in the chorus where I talk about flying down the freeway, etc. It's on my revved up Harley Ride. That's we couldn't do it because, as you said earlier, we were in this lockdown 5K radius in Melbourne, and I'm further away than 5Ks from the freeway. So that's when I wrote that song, and that was the thought. Can't wait for the day that I can get out on a long ride or get down some of these freeways to the Great Ocean Road or some of the windy mountain roads, etc. But yeah, that's definitely where it came from.
And I imagine if you did attempt to go a bit further, you would have been a target. But this is the thing, Harley riders are pretty obvious, right, on the road. So in terms of police, they probably could have looked at you and thought, that's not just nicking down to the shops.
Yeah, that's right. You can't sneak around. It's fairly hard to do that. And once you do it a few times, and our mates in blue are out there, they tend to then know who lives where, or hey, we've seen that one before, and all of a sudden, that's the 4th time today we've seen that one go past. They might want to have a chat. So yeah, you had to be careful. Yeah.
Do you think that this is slightly off topic but related? Do you think that riding a Harley, you are more of a target for the mates in blue? Like generally speaking, from the time you started riding a bike, I'm just curious because you are highly visible on those bikes.
Yeah, well, people always say to me, Harley, or you're riding a bike, you're a temporary Australian, but Harley-Davidsons are the most seen. I think everyone recognises a Harley rider, and let's face it, we're not exactly silent. You can hear the bike. That's the giveaway, I suppose. So you can tend to be a target, just purely because of the noise of the bike, and we suffer the noise restrictions that everybody else does. So if you give a Harley a good rev, it has a great sound, and some of them might be a little louder than they should be. So
right.
But other than that, not really a pointed target at all. No.
Oh, that's good. Well, that's good, especially because you've written a song about it, which might encourage more people to go and get a Harley. But
that's right. Get out there.
You have said that there are actually not many songs written about Harleys in the country arena, and initially that surprised me, but then I stopped and thought, well, no, because pickup trucks are the things, or utes are the things.
Yeah, that's the story with this is that you're right. There's not a lot of songs written about that I could find written about Harleys in the country arena. Certainly in the rock or blues or whatever, there seems to be quite a lot. But pickup trucks certainly do. And in actual fact, this song I had originally started writing as my Chevy ride because I have a Chevy pickup or Chevy Ute. And I didn't like it. And when I played it to Wilco, Dave Wilkins, he said, "What's this Chevy?" And I said, "Well, I was going to make it Harley, but then I didn't know how that'd go and people get the wrong impression." And I said, "But anyway, this is what I wanted to do with the Harley stuff." And that was one of the ideas. And we finished the song and it actually sounded better than Chevy Ride. So that's how it actually got over there in the end.
Yeah, I mean, they both words have two syllables, but the rhythm is different with Harley to Chevy.
It is, that's right. And there's certainly a different persona about that. Harley Ride sounds tough, I suppose I'll say it. Chevy is tough, but it doesn't have the same impact. Let's say that. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned Dave Wilkins and he is your new manager, and I believe that this was the song that cemented the relationship. So is he too a Harley rider?
He's not yet, but if I get my way, he will be. He likes them, loves them. And it was when I first met Dave and I said, "Listen, how about, can we do something together?" He said, "Oh yeah, well, send me your stuff and we'll see." And as I said, this was originally Chevy Ride, but I'd sent the second version being Harley Ride, and that was the one that got him. And he said, "Oh, hang on, if you can write like that, I'm interested to talk to you." And that's really how it started. And remember, Dave and I lived in the same street for 20 years and never ever met one another until like 25 years later. Can you believe that?
Well, obviously the timing was right.
It must have been.
Yeah. Now, you've also said, "I don't sing sad songs," which is, I think, a great life philosophy, apart from anything else. Yeah. Did you ever used to sing sad songs?
Never. Absolutely not. No. I, having the country upbringing from my father, he'd play Charlie Pride, Hank Snow, some of the sad ones that Slim would do, etc. And I remember there was one in particular called The Long Yard that Slim Dusty did, and that's about the horse that they leave him out there in the long yard, so they're turning out this horse. Now I remember the first time I heard it when I was a kid, I thought, how sad is this? I was actually crying. I must have been about 8 or 9. I was crying about, they're pushing this old horse out to the paddock and letting him go to enjoy his days but die. And my other uncle loved Hank Williams, who, not Hank Williams Jr., but Hank Williams. And he would find all the sad songs in there as well. And I just couldn't do it. I kept saying, "Why are you playing this stuff? It just makes you want to cry." That's what it did with me. And then when I joined Montana, which Charlie Boyder was out of the Slim Dusty band, the first thing I said to him was, "We're not playing The Long Yard." And he played on that on the original album, right? That's it. And he's like, "Why?" I said, "Because I'll cry." He goes, "Mate, you're 23 years of age, 24 years of age." I said, "I don't care. I don't do sad songs. No sad songs." So that's it. I've stuck by that all the time. I said, "You should be happy, you play music and cry, So no.
But
so
also,
that's the way I write.
I'm sure Charlie had played the Long Yard enough times. He didn't need to play it with you.
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't do it as good as what Slim did the original anyway. But he was. He just found it very amusing, and he quite often throw these sad songs towards me. I'd say, "Well, you can sing it. I'm not doing it." Yeah. So, yeah.
But also, I would think, given that you have played for so many audiences over the years, the commitment to not playing sad songs would mean that your audience would always have an uplifting, entertaining time.
Yeah, you'd certainly hope so, and that's what I try and do with my shows. And we always have tried, even back with the band in Montana, is to have the uplifting. Don't sit down and watch. Get up out of the chairs, enjoy. I mean, music's entertainment. And that's what we're in, the entertainment industry. So get out of the chair and have a laugh. And some people say, "Yeah, but you can tell a good story and have a cry." But I never put crying on my Friday night list of wanting to do. It was always entertain and etc. So for me, I just went the other way.
Yeah, it was. But when I read this about you, I thought, well, yeah, that actually makes sense. I think we just accept that there are going to be some sad songs and some happy songs, but it's actually a great commitment, as I said, a great life philosophy to just not engage with that material.
Yeah, well, it is for me anyway.
Yeah. Well, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should start applying that in my own life. If I didn't have sad songs, maybe I wouldn't be crying over music.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is next for you? Are you writing some more songs? Have you recorded more songs?
Yeah, we have. We've got the album to come out later this year, and we have the songs are all picked. They're completed, all bar two now, which we just got to tidy up a couple of things that Dave's not happy with my vocals, and that's fine. I can appreciate that. So I've got to go back and finish those off, and then we're targeting the middle of June for the release of the album, which is called Born to Ride. So there you go. There's another attachment to the Harleys, but and there's a couple of more singles to come out as well, which I think will. Well, I'm hoping that people will get to see a bit more of me personally. It's really, I've always found it hard to write personal songs, but Dave and the people around me have made me sit down and write something that's a bit more personal to give people an insight. So, there's one of those on there which is going to come out shortly that I think will be interesting for people. So it'll be an interesting turn. It's not a sad one though.
Right. And I should have asked earlier, actually, when we were talking about Harley Ride, have you had a response from other Harley riders to the song?
Yeah, I have actually. It's been great. The guys and the girls, the ladies in the club, the whole club have been really supportive. They like it. And I've had Harley Heaven, which is a big Harley-Davidson franchise here in Melbourne and Adelaide and Sydney. They've jumped on board. They're doing some great stuff with us at the moment. So they've done it. And I just know on my social media, the messages that I've been getting back from, and, people I don't know, they've actually been clicking it and, recommending it off to their mates who are Harley riders or whatever. Hey, have a listen to this, or, get your ears into this one, play this one. So it's been really interesting to watch that, and quite humbling, to be honest, that somebody recommends my song to somebody else to listen to. It's a great thrill.
Well, I would imagine also you may get some contact and feedback from people overseas, because obviously Harleys are very popular all around the world. So, I mean, maybe you're already getting that.
Yeah, I have. It's quite funny. There's a social media group called the Brotherhood of Harleys, and they've been sending me messages. Hey, we're playing your stuff this Friday, and this is over in America. We're having a party, and guess what? And they're showing me, that they're playing it. So it's, I don't know what to say to that, but you couldn't ask for more. That's great that they're doing. That's the purpose you sort of write it for, and it's great that people are getting that entertainment from. I can't wait to do them live.
Yeah, well, and also because you've written it from a very genuine place of loving your Harley-Davidson, but also embodying that experience of the ride and what you were missing at the time. So it's no wonder people have responded to it, I'm sure.
Well, I hope so.
Well, Jason, I'm looking forward to hearing your new music when it's released. And in the meantime, this is a very entertaining song, even for a non-Harley rider like me. I think the specific is universal, and you captured that sense of freedom and being out on the road. So congratulations.
Excellent. Thank you.